everybody, I'm Connor, this is Doug, and welcome to May the Pod Be With You, a podcast about everyone's favorite epic space opera. Yes, it's been 45 years since Star Wars dropped out of light speed and sparked a half-century of sequels and special effects. In this episode, we'll rank the greatest starship captains in the franchise. Will Kirk retain the top spot, or will Jean-Luc Picard make the Kessel Run in under 10 parsecs and claim the title?
Connor?
From the mind-blowing magic of the midichlorians to the heroic acts of Jar Jar Binks, we'll dissect the aliens of Star Trek, including the character design of the Ewoks. Coming just 1 year after E.T., the extraterrestrial, are Wicket and company just fuzzy E.T.s?
So many problems with this.
And finally, we'll prove without a shadow of a doubt that Greedo, not Han Solo.
Okay, that's it. Stop the show. Stop the show. You've gone too far this time. Connor, have you ever even seen Star Wars?
I told you before we started recording that I have not.
I don't even know where to start. We could go into the technical differences between X-Wings, Y-Wings, and A-Wings, but I think maybe we should start probably with the prequels and then circle back around to the new ones.
I don't know. It's almost like you're speaking another language, like Klingon or something.
Well, that's as good of a transition as I guess we can hope for. Ever since we began our dual language program with a group of kindergartners here in Bethel, it's expanded 1 year every year, and now it encompasses a preschool age program called Transitional Kindergarten, and our initial cohort of kids is now in middle school.
So we use what's called a 90-10 model. That's what OSPI recommends and has seen the most success with. Preschool and kindergartners are 90% Spanish and 10% English. That gradually increases until it hits 50-50 in third grade.
In our secondary programs, the goal is to have a 50-50 model where we're offering 3 content areas in English and 3 content areas in Spanish.
That's Elizabeth Godsey, our Assistant Director of Multilingual Education. She had great things to say about the program at a recent school board meeting. Our dual language programs offer huge benefits to students, helping them become biliterate and bilingual with high academic achievement and an appreciation of other cultures. They can even earn a seal of biliteracy on their diploma.
So, Doug, the question is, how are our students doing? And using a test called the STAMP test, our dual language elementary students are actually above the national average in reading, listening, and speaking, only a little below the national average in writing by 0.5%.
And Spanaway Middle School Principal Shannon Leatherwood said that success has continued in middle school.
When you look at all of 6th grade, for first year, all 4 domains, we beat the national average at Spanaway Middle School for our growth.
That's fantastic news, but Shannon was most proud of something else.
We have 8 of our 7th graders qualifying already for the Seal of Biliteracy, which they already have the 4 credits for high school, and we'll have that on their diploma, as well as 3 of our 6th graders already qualified.
Students in middle school getting high school credit, it's really phenomenal.
Yeah, it feels like the program just made the jump to middle school, but now leaders are already planning for the program to head to high school at Spanaway Lake.
Hundreds of students are benefiting from this program now, and even more will as we move into the future.
Dual language is even something State Superintendent Chris Reichdahl recently talked about in a video message about his vision for the program in Washington State.
If we can keep kids in their native language, Spanish for some, English for many, while they're learning a second language, and give them content like math, social studies, physical education, health class in their native language, they not only come out stronger in their first language, they're acquiring a second language, and they're stronger in those other subject areas. So this is a question of equity. This is a question of how do we lift up all of our students regardless of their primary language. You give them opportunities to learn multiple languages and contextualize other subjects in those multiple languages. This is at the heart and soul of a more equitable society and really recognizing the diversity of our families.
I love seeing Bethel at the forefront of programs the state is just now getting behind. It's such a great success story for us, for our students, and for their families. Andrea Landis, our Executive Director of Special Services, said, "Our name is out there when other districts are looking for tips and tricks to start a great program."
There's great things going on in the program. And one of the things that I'm most proud of is we're also now becoming a resource for other districts who are thinking of implementing dual language programs. So pretty exciting things are going on.
You can read more about this awesome program in the latest issue of the Bethel Pride magazine and see some great photos of students in class. In other news, Camas Prairie Elementary has just won a national award, and our fantastic, award-winning, intrepid reporter, Doug, he must have written this, and since he left, I can tell you, he's just an all right reporter. Anyway, Doug went over to visit them recently and talk all about it.
I'm sitting here with Melissa Munson-Merritt, principal at Camas Prairie Elementary School. Now, you've been here at Camas for 6 years, first as the assistant principal and now as principal for the past 5 years. And before we get into the big award that you and your staff just brought home, let's talk about you. Tell me your story about how you became a teacher first, and then what got you interested in being a principal.
Gosh, I think back a long time ago, I would have never been a teacher had I chosen this career straight out of high school. I would have been like an accountant or something. But nonetheless, I had my first son, and I realized how important adults are in children's lives. And I just felt called to become an educator. And so I did. I started out as a paraeducator in the AVID program at a high school down in Texas. I moved back home here as my husband was transitioning out of the military. I became a paraeducator at Chief Leschi Elementary on the Puyallup Indian Reservation. And then after that, I came to Bethel and started as a 7th grade ELA and social studies teacher out at Spanaway Middle. After working there for a few years, I joined the digital learning pilot we had going on in our district, and then somehow transitioned into becoming a digital learning TOSA, and I did that for 2 years prior to coming to Camas Prairie.
And then from there, you began your road to becoming a principal. But before you talk about that, what about Bethel? What is keeping you here? You came here from another district, and you've stayed for quite some time. What is it about Bethel?
It's funny you ask that, because there was a time when Mr. Siegel was visiting classrooms, and Tammy Nelson was my principal over at Spanaway Middle, and he asked me the same question. How do you like it here in Bethel? What's keeping you around? And I just appreciated the organization of daily education. I don't know how else to describe that besides just there were systems to how we did things, why we did things, and we had really great kids who wanted to learn from educators who motivated them to learn. And as long as we had that right mix going on, we had pretty successful classrooms, happy kids, happy staff, and we were doing good things in the classroom, and that's why I stuck around. I even moved 40 minutes away, and I still drive to Bethel because I appreciate the coworkers, the colleagues I have here, and the kids and the families in the area.
And you do have a great staff here. Tell me about what they're doing that has got you on the national map.
We started down a journey of really embodying the PLC, professional learning community mission and vision, with having conversations dedicated to the DeForest 4 questions. What do we want kids to know? How are we going to know when they know it? What about when they don't? What about when they do? And so we started that journey my first year as principal here, really shifting from that team meeting atmosphere to professional learning community atmospheres that were student-centered, data-driven, and really focused on doing good work for kids. As we grew through the next few years, we started to realize that teamwork makes the dream work. When we could rely on each other and divide and conquer, it helped us balance our home life and our work life and created better outcomes for our kids because we had happier teachers. Then fast forward to the 21-22 summer, we had Mike Matos come to our Summer Institute via Zoom. He talked about organizing our teams in a way that made more sense for our educators. He said something like, is it more difficult or is it easier to teach 10 kids who need all very different things or 30 who need the same essential skill? And we really grabbed onto that and thought, if we start to organize our kiddos by what they need, we can have increased efficiency as teachers, and we can start just filling gaps as we see the data reveals them. And so really what I can attribute our success to is that Summer Institute moment when we realized it is smarter to work by organizing our kids by their need versus trying to work harder and meet everyone's needs in a way that spreads ourselves too thin.
That definitely makes a lot of sense. So coming into 22-23 school year, what are you focused on?
Same thing as last year, nothing new. We didn't buy any new fancy products or anything like that. We had another session with Mike Matos this summer, which reignited that idea around organizing ourselves around the needs of the kids. And we started with what we call Move To, which are what we used to call Walk To, but just to be inclusive of all of our students, we call them Move To groups. And we started right away within a few weeks of school starting, of getting kids organized by what they need. And we're already moving and shaking and sharing kids, and they're moving groups to groups based on what they need. And we're seeing amazing growth already this fall.
For those that don't know, talk about those Move To groups. Maybe paint us a picture from a specific class, like a first grade class with a first grader with specific needs or something like that.
Of course. So obviously teachers are still teaching Tier 1 core curriculum. They're using ReadyGen, they're using Eureka to teach ELA and math. We've dedicated additional time, 30 minutes for math, which we're calling Tier 2 math time, and 40 minutes for ELA, we're calling Tier 2 ELA time, where kids then move to a particular classroom that can meet their needs. It's during that time, that move to time, where kids might be focused on what we call essential learning outcomes, priority standards, essential standards, it's interchangeable, but we really have drilled down. So in first grade, for instance, for math, we're working on adding and subtracting within 20. We have kids who may be struggling still with addition, so they're in that addition group. We have some kids who have mastered addition within 20 and they're ready for subtraction. And so those are an idea of the different groups that kids would be in.
I love it. That's just one of the many things Camas Prairie is doing well, and that's what puts you on the map. So as a principal, you can put your school in for awards, apply for different awards throughout the year. The award that you won, you didn't apply for. In fact, you didn't even know it was coming.
No, it's funny that you bring that up. We didn't apply for it, but we did go to the conference where distinguished schools are recognized in 2019. I took a team, and one of my teachers had said, we want to make it to the stage. And we all were kind of excited by that and said, yeah, we do. But we let that go. I never thought about it again. And I was only reminded of it the other day when she came in. It was one of my kindergarten teachers that went to the conference with me. She came in with tears in her eyes and she said, we made it to the stage, remember? And I thought, oh my gosh, now I do. How cool is that?
And a huge congratulations for your staff to make it to that stage, the National ESEA Distinguished School, Camas Prairie Elementary. And you got it for Category 1, Exceptional Student Performance and Academic Growth as determined by each state. And one of only 2 schools here in Washington to get this award. Congratulations to you and your staff. Before I go, you have a lot of signs up in your office. You have one that says choose happy, one that says be brave, strong, and courageous, and seek adventure and truth. And another that says today is a good day to have a great day. There's a lot more. Which is your favorite, I guess, right now? Because I'm sure you like all of these sayings.
There's one on my door that says, do what is right, not what is easy. It's so true. We should always be doing what is right, not just because it's the easy thing to do. Sometimes it is the easy thing to do, but sometimes it's the hard thing to do. And we just have to live by that motto.
I love that. Do what is right, not what is easy. Before I let you go, can you tell us something that people don't know about you that might surprise them?
I can do some mean Eminem karaoke rapping. I'm pretty legit. And I also drag race a 69 Nova at times. My dad would like me to go on the drag racing circuit, but I remind him that I have a real job.
For the car fanatics out there, and I know there are some, tell us about your 69 Nova.
It's a pedal car, so some drag race cars have buttons that you push, and so it's a foot car. And I mean, I can go an 11-second quarter mile. I'm working on getting faster, but my time off the line isn't so good. So we're working on it.
Well, I love it. That surprised me. And living her life a quarter mile at a time here at Camas Prairie Elementary, Melissa Munson-Merritt, principal of a national ESEA Distinguished School, Category 1, Exceptional Student Performance and Academic Growth as determined by each state. Only one of 2 schools here in Washington State to get the award. Melissa, thanks so much for joining us on the podcast today. And thank you for everything you're doing for your staff and your students.
Thank you. And I really have to give a shout out to the Camas Prairie staff. They're the ones that make this possible. I just show up every day and help organize all the resources. They're the ones doing the heavy lifting.
Wow, what a great honor, and congratulations again to everyone over at Camas Prairie Elementary. And that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for listening. We will see you next week.